Hello guys, and welcome back to Watch Addiction. Today we'll be taking a look at the newest release from Nezumi Studios. This is the Corbeau, or the Corbeau, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. This is their number 2 model, and it's a new field chronograph release inspired by the 60s and the 70s. And it's a pretty cool watch. It's a chronograph. It's using a hybrid mechanical movement, the VK Seiko 63 movement. And let's get a little more closer and let's get into it. Before getting into it, I just want to make a little statement here. This is the actual crystal that will be used on the final production models. As you can see, it's a bit more vintagey, has that aesthetic to it, and it's definitely more domed, the sapphire crystal, than the one that's actually in the sample down there that we're going to take a look at. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so here it is. And as you can see, it's quite a stunning looking watch. Definitely looks very vintage to me. I love all those cues, even the style of the bezel, the style of the subdials and the Arabic numerals, and the kind of faux Arabic numerals, as you can see how they're kind of in that color, as well as the hands and even the loom, which is pretty cool there. Now in terms of some dimensions here, to get that out of the way, we do have a nice 40mm case, which I really like to see on a chronograph, in a modern chronograph. As you know, most modern chronographs are around, I would say 42, 43, 44, 45, 46 even. And to keep a standard 40mm watch, especially in a chronograph, is definitely something nice to see. And that's the first thing that I noticed. And it definitely fits on the wrist very nice, especially for a 40. For myself and probably for you as well. My wrist is not that big, it's 6.5 inches. Now in terms of the lug to lug, we're looking at 47mm here. We have a complete stainless steel case, which is brushed all around very nicely. Nice sharp lugs here, as you can see. They're done pretty well, or pretty good. And yeah, pretty much brushed all around. We get a nice signed crown here with the Nezumi logo. It's a pull and push crown. Short little stubby pushers here, which is nice, keeping in tune with the case. And yeah, we have Arabic numerals going around the dial, 12 through 11 right here. We have 3 subdials. We do have your running 60 seconds, as you can see, above the 6 o'clock position. We have a 24-hour subdial. And then we do have your 60-minute chronograph countdown, which is nice to see over here, right between the 10 and the 8. Now the bezel is a unidirectional rotating bezel. We have a 20mm lug width here. And the bezel action is very good, I must say. I do like the bezel action. As you can see, there's some good grip over here. These little notches are very easy to grasp onto. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. Nice sound too. So yeah, the bezel is good. That's good to see. That's a big part for me. Now we get a double domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside, which is good, especially in highlight conditions, when you want to see the time, of course. Now the bezel itself is a 60-click bezel, so you might want to keep that in mind. It's a 60-click bezel. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It works perfectly fine for 60 minutes. And it's always nice to time one thing with the chronograph, and you can actually time something else with the timing bezel, which is nice. And I want to take a look at the case back. Let me get it off this NATO strap. We'll get into the strap in a minute here. But let's just see what's underneath here. And here it is. Nezumi does pretty nice case backs. The case back is screwed down, as you can see. And we have that raised logo with the N over here, Nezumi, creating bonds, State 2011. That is the year they came out, in 2011. And Sweden, as they are a Swedish brand. The case back is screwed down, completely brushed on the outer part. Does state the model name right here, Sapphire Crystal. And it also does state some other basic information, such as Japanese movement and chronograph, and mecha quartz even on the back over here, and then stainless steel over here. And I think it's just a pretty good look for their case back. They pretty much keep it the same across the board on most of their watches with this case back, and I think it's working fine. Now this style NATO strap, the watch actually comes in a few different variations. This is their number 2 version, but if you read the article, and I'll throw up some pictures on the screen, there are a few different variations of this watch with different dial colors and sub-dial colors. And I happen to like this one the best though, in my honest opinion. I think everything just flows together. Now in terms of the actual dial, the dial is actually a black dial if you didn't notice. We do have off-white subdials with that nice circular texture, as you can see. We have black subdial hands, as you can see right there, and they all seem to line up perfectly. Now, the movement inside of this watch is the Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz movement. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a movement made by Seiko, which produces some of the greatest watches in the world, and it's basically combining mechanical and quartz in one. So you're getting that mechanical, like tick of the chronograph right here, as you can see. Start the chronograph and it sweeps, but wait, it's a quartz movement, but it's not. It's combining mechanical and quartz, which is pretty cool. So you're getting superb accuracy with basically the same function of a mechanical chronograph here. As you can see, that hand sweeping around right now. And it does fly back if you hit the bottom button, as you can see. Start it up again, stop it, and you can reset just like that as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so far so good. You know, everything looks pretty good. The finishing, the build feels good. The NATO strap, now this is one of their color of NATO straps here, in this kind of brownish color here. It's a pretty thick NATO strap, feels tough, nice and robust. The holes are definitely very good there. As you can see, I don't think those will be ripping. And, you know, I think it looks good on this watch, you know, in this vintage style with this NATO strap, brushed hardware all around. A nice kind of thin buckle here, as you can see, to keep out of the way of things when on the wrist. And there is some nice lume on this watch as well. Now, stated on Nezumi's website, the lume is actually vintage colored Swiss Luminova. And let's take a look at that right now. I'm going to get you guys a nice lume shot, and I'll be right back. Now here's the watch on my 6.5 inch wrist, and like I said, 40mm case fits great on my wrist, especially with this thickness of 11.75 millimeters, which is pretty thin for a chronograph. You're not going to really find any mechanical chronographs that thin, even if you search the whole internet. Now I think it looks really nice on this NATO strap. Now usually I'm not one to like NATO straps, but for some reason this fits super comfortable, and I can definitely wear this on a NATO strap. I think it looks really good. The color matches the dial. Like I said, there are a few different variations of the dials and the straps you can pick. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, that is definitely a sleek watch there. Look at those nice lugs, how they curve down. I really like that. Like bezel. I think it's very nice. I was trying to find something wrong with this watch, but honestly, I really cannot find anything wrong with it. Everything seems to be in place. I mean, I've reviewed a couple of their older models, the Baleen, and I reviewed the Voyager, I believe. And out of the three of them, this has to be the nicest one in my honest opinion. I really do like this watch. I think it's a win-win here, especially for the price. Now, this watch is available for pre-order starting April 1st. So if you pre-order the watch, it says you get 20% off the MSRP. For non-European customers, it's 288 euros, including shipping. For European customers, it's 316 euros, including shipping. And then when that's over, the final retail price will be 360 euros and 395 euros. So if you happen to like this watch, the aesthetic of the overall watch, and the way it looks, and you know, I think it would make sense to get that 20% off if you were to buy one of these. And overall, in conclusion, guys, I think it's a great looking watch. I mean, it's a field chronograph. It's kind of hard to find field chronographs, especially in a 40mm case. It's something not really easy to find. You know, I've seen them all at Hamilton. They do a nice field chronograph, but it's a bit bigger and a bit chunkier, and it's a lot more expensive, of course. But I think they did it well here. I think they pulled it off. And that's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. You can check out the full written article on this watch right here on watchaddiction.com. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can check it out. Some nice photos and good stuff like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out all the links in the description. And I hope to see you guys soon. Subscribe, like, let me know what you think of this watch in the comments section below. It means a lot to me. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.